Time to finally finish this freaking flashback case of Case 7. Whew. February, 11:32 a.m. Old Bailey. Defendants and the chamber. Joyful, jubilant, jumping, jacks. Oh, Mr. Natsumi, I'm so pleased for you. Locum, student Naruto, Esquire. What's up, Pope? And non-locum's judicial assistant, Miss Mikotawa, Esquires. Now, finally, at long last, they give me proof. Don't bite me. Proof that I'm innocent, and proof that my tea is innocent. Pal. Good morning, my dear fellows. Here, Locke, Sholmes. May you drink my tepid tea in full oversight. I thought the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Please, save the region. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's clearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Your scorn is clearly written across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort, but you brought it up. Truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought, tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. Rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Hey.
What's up?
Not much. Just finally got starting Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Oh, really? I can't start anything. I come home too fucking late.
I'm gonna have to work weird hours this week because Veterans Day is Thursday, so there's no work that day, so less days to do my hours.
Yeah.
And then Thanksgiving, I only have 3 days to do my hours. Such spirited determination has a beauty in its own, does it not? Oh, yes. Then I shall begin to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? The answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. So I still don't know how you could play like multiple MMOs and all this crap, and I see you still haven't maxed out all your characters, I think.
Yeah, I have two left actually. Yep, 2 left.
Oh, is that not astute insight into the matter? Oh, yes. Upon which realization, I attempted to experiment. Didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted. Began to assailed by the fits of drowsiness. Shocking. Shocking.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't have freaking time. Anything.
And so the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. Good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already.
Are you ever gonna play what you call it? Genshin?
whenever I don't have a bunch of other MMOs or RPGs to play. Especially not right now that 14 is about to have an expansion.
Yeah, they pushed it back.
Yeah, supposedly I guess to December, but
Yeah.
well, it gives me more time to finish Death Stranding, which probably won't happen.
Oh.
And then the new Call of Duty just came out, but I heard the campaign is surprisingly short also.
Yeah.
Orders presuppose I love prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellows, is the scientific method. Oh yes, and one more thing. And yes, one more thing. Remember this. Oh yeah, the poison. Ah. Yes, of course, it's the poison Miss Green was about to drink in the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a vigorous task, but the bottle is near empty. But such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes.
Oh, I hate this fucking fight.
Managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. So I was right. Perhaps. Though of course such circumstantial evidence does not prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now. But licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. The bottle of poison is bad enters the court record. The bottle found in possession of Miss Green has traces of slow-acting poison strychnine inside. Ah, could I have a word? Let's see. Examine the bottle. Nothing. Okay, here we go. So this is the poison we've been hearing so much about. Strychnine. There's a few remnants of the bottom of the bottle. Here, look. You mustn't be tempted to try it. Of course not, as long as we don't lose this trial. ... No, even if we lose the trial. No, we mustn't lose the trial in the first place, Mr. Naruto. Make up your mind, Suzato-san.
Oh boy.
Yeah, from what I hear, yeah, Genshin is annoying because there's, there's only so many parts like where you can do because of like daily energy.
Yeah, it's something like that. Oh shit, I gotta get hit by that. Fuck you. Oh
Yeah.
my god, he almost killed
Do
me.
you have a word? Hey, do I have a word? Gregson! Good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. With his bunch of chips. No fish. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look in your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. Yep, because Sholmes is here. My dear Inspector. Please speak freely. Pretend I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Shamspeare's room?
I can't do anymore. Yep, my energy's gone.
Not yet. Won't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. The dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from the newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Shamspeare's room? A man by the name of, yes, Selden. I went through the archives of the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in that, well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what? I copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Well, if you're bored, you can always watch this graphic novel of a game. Visual novel, rather. Well, I guess it's both.
Trust me, I'm definitely not bored. What's up? Oh no, he said if I was bored, I could watch the game he's playing, but I got so much shit to do on Genshin. I just finished 3 bosses. I don't have enough resin to do the other one, so I gotta wait till tomorrow. But now I gotta do my commissions, and I gotta fish a little bit, and then I gotta go on Final Fantasy and do main scenario, and then at least 1 fucking trust dungeon. Oh, and my beast tribes. Wonderful.
I haven't finished the last 2 beast tribes at all. One was kind of close, but still haven't finished them.
I know. I fucking wish.
The only one I completed was the first expansion.
I feel like I can't complete shit getting home after 5 o'clock. It's fucking annoying. Yeah, but you said you just you completed everything earlier, right?
No. I was in a doctor appointment. I was out all day. I'm doing my dailies right now.
Oh, I thought you said you completed them, like, already.
Yeah, I heard that too.
No, I said I'm done with dungeons and shit because I don't need to do them. You know? I just go on dungeons because you asked me to.
Yeah, oh, because you don't need any of that.
Yeah. I don't need to level any of my jobs for Final Fantasy because I already completed all my jobs.
I don't think I ever finished like but 60 at most of the jobs I have, the other jobs.
The only thing I have to do is get the all the quests for the level.
Yeah, I haven't done the quests for the jobs, but
I just couldn't find monks, so I gave up.
no, I'll do those for extra experience when the level cap is raised, because now that it's already, you know, it's too late for that now. I'm gonna do them and not get experience for it. Oh my god.
Well, it's just only for a trophy title for each job.
Alright, back to this. I copied out the relevant parts for you. You can read it for yourselves. Thank you, Inspector. The capital offenders file has been entered to court record. Scotland Yard file about the convicted criminal Selden. That includes a newspaper article from him dying of illness in prison. Yep, I had to do that and crap for my sister, and then, like I said, I have to work more this week.
I'm gonna have to bring a different, like, no, well, I am reading a book. The problem is that I use my phone to log these kids in and out from the bathroom, and then fucking I'm reading on my phone, so my phone battery today came down to like 29. I was like, oh my goodness.
Your phone from the bathroom, that sounds like Facebook research for anti-vax stuff.
I log people in and out of the bathroom because these kids don't know how to fucking keep from destroying property. It's fucking annoying.
Investigative findings related to Selden. 18 counts of burglary. 6 counts of suspected murder. Died of natural causes while in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate.
I haven't looked it up.
The estimate £1,000 worth of loot that he stole remains unrecovered. Manchester Strangeway Prisons announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering from fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. I don't think that really helps. It's nice over here right now.
No, I was riding my bike all day, so I'm was speed running from my mom's house, from Best Buy to my mom's house, and then from my mom's house back home.
Yeah, it's warmed up right now. It's 70 here, so it's been nice today.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not doing the fucking hunts and all that shit right now. Fuck that shit.
It's like, why do you even still bother with those?
No, not that. In Genshin, you have hunts. You have like to do 3 hunts a week.
After I
complete, yeah, you're max, right? I'm not.
Oh, that's fine. If you need
Remember,
me to
I
jump
took
on,
like.
I'm on Genshin right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me just finish my last 2 commissions and then.
Let me know. I'm doing mine.
These documents
I don't know.
include details that were in a newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Remember, when you play with me, I'm quicker. It's quicker.
I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have duplicate information. Alright, give us a copy of this important file, though. Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure that things get handled properly in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows. And the inspector here is a shining diamond in his crown. A shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer. That's all.
Cause then I gotta do fucking
Counsel for the defense
scenario
and the defendant.
forever.
Oh, she got rid of the article because the article's included with this. Okay.
Let me show you next time.
Alright, today we should hopefully finally finish this trial and get on to the 8th case. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way to the courtroom at once.
Never.
Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. And not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And yes, he will fall asleep. I'm very tired of seeing Mr. Mustache flood of tears, personally. So, best of luck to you. Welcome, student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamspeare. It's going to be the final battle. I won't really have save Saseki-san until I expose the whole truth of everything that's going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryosuke. You have to. (23rd February, 12:30 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
Oh, I gotta sneeze. Oh, thank you.
Bless you.
He's still shopping? The fuck?
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court is now in session again.
Yeah.
Before the recess, we have heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely that the victim in the case we've only heard here a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However,
I think your app is fucked up.
the prosecution has tired of extending every courtesy to the amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the honorable British prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zeeks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand?
Did you... Oh, sorry, Mark. I'm trying to go get my hunt right now.
Yeah, let me know. I'm still doing
Ready and waiting in the witness and the chamber, my lord.
On my last one.
The amount? I already okay everything else.
Hello, bailiff. Bring in the witnesses.
I'm so sleepy. I haven't eaten anything all day. Nothing.
Witnesses. Sorry. Witnesses. State your name and occupations for the court, please. William Shakespeare, my liege. William Shakespeare. How did I do his fucking voice again?
My throat has been burning all day. Invulnerability to pyro damage. Additional, the target has the following week.
William Shakespeare, me liege. For my occupation, I can only say that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words.
Yeah, that's not what
I'm olive green. I'm a fledgling artist, well no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words. What a coterie. Mr. Shakespeare.
John used to say
My lord.
die young.
I am thy humble servant.
And I used to tell him, don't say that.
I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair.
Huh?
The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant.
I said that John used to say that he wants to die young. He doesn't want to get old.
Intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger.
I fucking feel like saying the same thing.
The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would, for naught else, my lord.
Here.
And Miss Green. Yes? You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume?
It's down, a little bit down from where we were.
Yes, the officers did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon.
You okay? You'll be okay. Babe, you'll be okay.
Oh yeah, for the share play, like, can you do more than one person now, or is it still only one? If they're in the...
You can have like two people in two separate share plays. It is possible. Like you could still like one-on-one for a share play.
There you have it. Where's the, Jesus. Oh, I gotta do it through here then.
Yeah, to be in the party and
To, share this.
Oh my god.
He was a little bit tough.
This guy's always tough. Who wants pancakes? So,
I think it lets you do also picture in picture, if I remember right. Like you can kind of have the share play, like it doesn't have to be full screen. I think that's possible now, but I don't remember.
Classroom is out because of COVID exposure. An entire classroom. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Those are the kids that repeatedly come to the fucking bathroom, the ones in that class. Yeah. I'm fucking staying away from those kids. They could go in the bathroom, come out, go in, come out. I closed off the bathroom for like 20 minutes so I could clean it when nobody's in there. And then I sit in the fucking corner, all the way in the corner, and they just stop at the bathroom door, tell me their name in the classroom, I log it down, and they fucking go in, and that's it. I ain't fucking My aunt was like, don't go in there when they're in there. No electro damage.
You know how kids are too. Like, oh yeah, he washes his hands after licking the doorknob and putting other things in his mouth and then touching everything else with it.
Resistance, yeah, resistance to animal.
He said I poisoned this
Wait,
ridiculous
I gotta
buffoon.
read that again. Hold on a second. I think he's weak to it. Yeah, weakness. Hold up. Yeah, so the teacher is out, the fucking kids are out. Animal resistance decreased. Okay.
And then
So I was like,
Yeah, so I can do the share screen.
clicks, yeah. Or like if you want to watch someone, then you go like the home
use shared
screen and
screen.
then.
Let me do that.
I guess yeah, there's a. It's like share play, but you can also just watch without having to.
To go into the stream.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
like they had that for PS4, but like it was kind of like a one-on-one, and you have to reset it every hour and again. But the share screen lets you actually get a couple more people.
That's so cool.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
It's this way, sorry.
I think you could do picture-in-picture with it too. I'm not 100%, but you know, Genshin, I don't think is that intensive compared to some other games.
No.
I'm not sure. I heard supposedly you could do that, or later on they're gonna have that feature, but
I don't think you should play it, to be honest. It's really not worth it.
well, Genshin.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Like, if you haven't gotten into the game when it first came out, and you've spent a lot of time on it, just don't even bother. I'm not even kidding.
It's like it's not even a game you necessarily had to play with other people to. You just do most of it by yourself, anyways.
Yes.
Yes and no. You still. Oh my god, he fucking killed me.
And
You fucking bitch.
how else are you supposed to build your waifu harem? Also, you know.
Yeah, so if you haven't fucking played it, just don't. Cause it's stupid. The rates for drops on characters is ridiculous. It's really not worth it.
I don't know anything about any poisoning.
Where is he
And-
running to?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about this man. Come, lady, die to live.
Where is he going?
Verily,
Is he glitching?
He keeps going that way.
I know not thy pickly,
What the fuck?
pigmented personage.
Slid over here.
They say they don't know each other. Very well, let us proceed with the matter at
He killed
hand.
me again, yo.
That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. It's all very strange
There's
indeed.
something wrong because this health is not going down.
At all. Like, at all.
I'm dishing out the damage.
Maybe something you gotta break or whatever. And they do have certain moments of that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I always break the game somehow. That's it.
Some of them, yeah, you just gotta break them and then you can actually do damage in spurts.
No, I think it's because of these guys. These guys that like that spawn that have like they give him like strength or some shit. I don't know.
Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me?
Yeah, these guys give him defense.
So, yep. I barely ever go to the East End anyways. Just so happens I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago or so. And the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in the hospital fighting for my life. Yes. Having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the outside of the street in Garrett household.
I'm trying to kill him.
Vincent, I'm in a fight right now.
An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days. I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife
What the hell?
through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion.
told you, my hunts are fucking hard sometimes.
Oh,
What other irrelevant things might be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
is the bee stuck there? Okay.
Hmm. Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green.
Hi, kitties.
At this point in time,
Okay.
all that appears to connect to Mr. Shakespeare lodging is the Briar Road incident 6 days ago.
I was smashing the buttons quick.
Increased damage from catalyst-wielding characters.
That's
Too
why
bad, because I never have fucking catalyst
we would like you to testify
characters.
formally now on exactly what happened.
Isn't Chi-Chi Calitus?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
she is.
The incident 6 days ago, you mean? You want me to relive that awful incident?
Over here. Hey, what's up, Eddie?
Lola.
It's the Buckaroos.
Yo.
What you doing?
Oh,
Unfortunately, yes.
Just got back from food shopping.
Please tell the court what happened that day.
Oh, food shopping is so fun.
No, it's not. It's like fucking chaotic. I hate
Yeah, trust me, I know.
it. The only thing I hate about it is just I hate going. And two, it's like, ugh, everyone's on top of each other.
Why do you keep on?
I know why. I know why I keep dying now.
Why?
Because I
Mark's not
forgot to
healing you.
change. No, I forgot to change the fucking artifacts back to fucking.
Oh.
He has no artifacts on. I'm like, damn, this dude is squishy. What the fuck? Did they change something? Yo, I've died like 5 times. Like, what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on?
I'm like, what the fuck?
He's my strongest character, so I'm like, what is going on in the game? Holy shit.
Oh,
He one-shotted you?
no, he 3-shotted me, but he still killed me.
And of course, we'll be interested to hear about your movements that day too, Mr. Shakespeare.
Da, 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 da.
Eh? But what happened 6 days ago is nothing to do with me being poisoned. Let us, let us proceed then. The witness will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of 17th of February.
Was he reading a book?
Oh, he's playing the Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I know. I
You-
just say it.
I shared it there, so you should be able to watch it too, if you don't want to go to the stream. If you're not doing anything. The evening of 17th February. It was 6 days ago, at about 5 p.m. I was walking along the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back.
Back to phone affairs now.
Coincidentally, I happened to be just outside the house of the men who was, in this case, have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speaks,
What?
for I had bespoken my supper.
I'm confused. What are you showing?
It was the first time I had been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Well, anyway, I immediately went straight to the hospital, so I know nothing about all this business.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, a second incident inside a week of what we believe to be aptly named as the Haunted Lodgings. One can only presume this is the most unfortunate coincidence.
Ma, every transaction is pending, depending on the seller.
Meanwhile, you say you were not in the room, in your room, Mr. Shakespeare.
Some stuff will be pending for like 2 days.
It was the
or 3
following
days.
morn when I awakened that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine.
Yeah, that was all 3.
When Saseki-san was arrested for suspicion of attempted murder.
I want to get on Final Fantasy.
As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance.
I mean, every card is like.
It's true that though they are related at first glance, but I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here, I'm certain of it. That is one of my only chance to expose it.
Yeah, that's Markiplier.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord. evening of
You don't
17th
know what
February.
happened. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It was 6
Because
days
my
ago, about
body's
5
used
p.m.
to it. It was actually 6 o'clock in the morning.
Left here late.
I was walking along the snow when I suddenly stabbed in my back.
Kind
I
of,
was
yeah.
so
I
mad.
did.
I woke up at 6 o'clock. And I was like, yo, why is this off? Like,
I woke up at 5 a.m. because my body thought it was 6 a.m. That's the time I wake up in the morning. It's 6.
yeah, I wake up at 6:30 and I woke up before my alarm.
Yeah, that's because of the time.
The fuck? And then Vincent being a creep on the fucking wall.
It took
Yeah,
me.
my body was telling me it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
It took me almost an hour to get to work because of all the damn accidents, even though it was broad daylight
Oh my
at
god.
9 in the fucking morning.
Mad fucking accidents everywhere.
Yeah, every day, let's say, even though there's more sunlight, it's just more accidents.
It's more daytime stupidity.
What? I can't because since I have that mouse connected, because I
I'm
have
well
my
acquainted with the case.
actual
I'm sorry you had to go through with that.
keyboard and mouse connected.
It was
to
awful.
my
Still can't believe I was unconscious
PS5.
for so long.
That keyboard and mouse makes it stay like that. I'll put it in the other screen and it
When I woke up to find the case had been solved, the culprit was arrested. Yes, the incident had been resolved already. Perhaps you could help you consider it was a bad dream that ended your waking, and should now be forgotten.
What?
Yes, I suppose so. Thank you.
I'm about to have fucking cereal.
Babe, where's the cutter?
I don't know what for what. It looks like you say you're gonna want it.
But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day for us to arrive at the truth of the new case. Trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Coincidentally, it just happened to be outside the house where the men in the case had their lodgings. What were you doing there that day, though? What do you mean? The art school you attend, what's it called? Ah, yes, the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene in the underground. I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road, is that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of East End? Well, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought I might have to make a picture. To witness a student of the art. City-dwelling artists can't paint the grand urban vistas. That's right. That's what happened to... It happened to look like a crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term. The point is, she is definitely hiding something. Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. Trying to hide out why she was there that evening.
Prove a certain amount.
It must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shakespeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, you can tell the court what exactly you were doing. This would be my pleasure, sire. I was at the tavern at the eve which thou speaks, for I had bespoken my supper. A tavern, you say?
Stop doing that, dude.
Which one? There was the slug and salad,
No.
hereditary,
Like, keeps doing this thing with his throat.
Tisajul
It's
in
really
the East
annoying.
End.
Oh, you didn't get me last night, will you?
Dot dot dot. And a little unexpected, I feel.
Some of the things that he put.
Hmm? What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks? The slug and salad offers are usually fine dining for the locality at least. Not in a Spanish establishment you be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. It's true.
No, he's doing that like a OCD tick thing.
It's true. The menu lists premium crust of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness.
Yeah. But he clears his throat. It used to be that his eyes were itchy all the time. It used to be his socks that bothered his feet. Now he's going through this thing where it's his
I would have
throat.
expected Grub's Grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. I've expected Grub's Grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas. Or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. And equally appetizing. I just want to try some water in a different pub. For once. What's wrong with that?
Have you done any of your work, Tristan? No. Right?
How can the water really
You've been
be...
sitting there? You could work right up until I go to sleep.
Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation.
He doesn't want to do it when I'm at work.
A
Then
specific
he's
reason why
gonna-
you had to go to that particular establishment. Agreed. The fact that on that day of days, he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, does stand out.
Page in his workbooks, and he has to work online with iExcel and Khan Academy. I didn't pay for those fucking services for him not to use
You know what
it.
he told me?
So Mr. Shamspeare's own actions that day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious.
Yes.
I wonder if you have some evidence that can explain those actions.
Hey. You what? Are you calling me a liar? You told me that right there in the kitchen.
Not at the moment. Usually, but sadly, I can't think of anything at the moment. We find a clue. We explain Mr. Shamsphere went there. He was presented to the court.
One thing you don't do
Yes,
is
absolutely.
tell Mima she's a liar. She's gonna whoop somebody's ass.
Well, that's all in this matter, Counsel. Ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement.
Bring out the belt and give him the belt and the buckle part. It's like here, I'll give you some welts.
What the fuck did I sell?
It was the first time I had been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to this off.
It's like whoosh.
Oh, you said you were gonna bring me the cutter.
What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
Okay.
It was nothing really. It's not worth mentioning. Remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. It was related to that card you were holding. Miss Green. What was that? She clearly had something behind her back. Good. Flashback. From Maria, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross.
Okay.
What does that matter? It had nothing to do with Duncan. Shamspeare has an idea. Mr. Shamspeare, do you have something to share with the court?
Oh my god. I'm fucking hungry.
I'll go make something.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
There, I don't have anything fucking fast to make right now. Everything I have to defrost and cook. But my mom made a grocery like on Instacart, and the guy's fucking gonna be here like 8 something.
Wow.
Well, that's why we had pizza today.
You shouldn't give that guy a tip at all, yo.
Yeah, word. I'm having pizza right now.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm having. What kind?
Pray,
Just
forgive
plain.
me.
Today's plain pizza.
Oh, Supreme.
Oh, I love
Domino's.
Supreme.
Supreme's pretty
They didn't have that many toppings, so
Yes.
2 topping pizzas.
Oh, yes, it is.
And the cheese sticks.
I like the cheesesteak one.
Okay.
Pray, forgive me. The great bard's words springeth from within me with nearer
Right out of
thought.
the pepperoni one.
Don't tell me it's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hear Miss Green's word a moment ago. You seem to think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps?
Yeah.
Well, nay, sire. 'Tis was nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though, huh? Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. It would appear so, but sadly, nay. Lodging can be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just 1 floor above yours.
Not today.
Wrong one.
Just
Miss
two
Green?
tribes. What?
Me, my lord? What have I done something wrong?
Put it in the drawer. Is
The
it
card that
desk
was
drawer?
mentioned before, containing a note. Do you have it on your person? Yes I do, but don't need any more. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Don't go under, you stupid
That's the rest of that
dragon one.
right there.
This goes.
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please.
At this rate, if I stop fucking eating and just go to work, I guess I'll just lose a lot of weight. That'll be a good thing.
That's true. But you will get that fucking problem again. Having the hole in your stomach because it's eating itself.
And the lack of muscles from, your body cannibalizing itself.
No,
Well,
but that you
technically,
can still
if
build
I keep
muscles.
eating at the same time every day, it's sort of like I'm fasting.
Yeah.
If I eat one meal during the day,
Just I did that, that didn't work.
fasting, it works if you know how to do it.
If you eat 1 meal a day, you're basically starving your body the entire time, so it goes into basically survival mode. So you retain more weight when you eat only once a day.
It depends though, because I've tried fasting and it works.
No, fasting works.
Yeah, but that's mainly water weight still in the end.
In the end, your body is going to be like, oh, I'm going to store all this fat.
But people that do it for religious reasons, especially this one lady at my job, she stayed really thin all the time. Like, she never gained weight at all.
Yeah, but she also probably ate a decent diet when she was eating.
Yeah, she's probably eating fish and stuff like that. Fish has no fat on it.
I had a friend Muslim that she was at work, and she did her, 40 days Ramadan or whatever, so she had to eat by like 5:30 or 6 in the morning and nothing else until like 11 o'clock at night or something, so
Yeah.
or whatever time.
Yeah, that's
And they basically train their body for that. If not, then then they can't drink water or anything until it's time to eat again. Miss Green's card, a note in an envelope that seems to have been ripped open rather roughly. Contains instructions on where to meet with someone named
Yeah, but
who claims to have
fasting
information
works
Duncan
for
Ross.
me because that's essentially what I was doing when I was wrestling. And I dropped the weight mad fast. Like, super fast.
But I'm pretty sure it also came back almost just as fast,
a
though.
lot of cardio.
No. Right, Mark? Did I gain the weight back right away? No, it was after I had Tristan that I gained the weight back.
Yeah, but that's different. You basically always gain weight after with pregnancy.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. When I was fasting, I I never gained the weight back. Like, it just
Yeah, but
wasn't
you're, at the same
happening.
time, Jazz, you enjoy food too much.
I do, but it's only when I'm home and bored that I eat a lot. Cause when I'm out and I'm like doing something, like working, I barely eat. When I started working at Stacko, I started to drop some weight. A lot of weight, in fact, because my jeans and my pants were fitting me really loose.
Of course, that's outnames
It's
Mr.
just-
Shamspear and Miss Green.
When I'm active, my body is like, you know, it's like responding to it. And I don't eat as much.
When I'm active, my body's like.
The envelope has been ripped open
"Hey,
rather
you're
carelessly,
starving
hasn't it?
yourself.
Mr. Green striking the type to open corresponds very neatly in that.
Like, fuck, man.
Ah. What is it?
And I try to ignore it. That
The way the
shit-
envelope was torn, I'm almost sure I've seen the exact same shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't
For
mean...
me, I could avoid eating.
You were thinking
that
of this piece
much
of
as long as
evidence?
I'm just not
You were thinking
home
of this
all
piece
day,
of
you
evidence,
know?
Mr. Naruto? Exactly, that's it. Trying to
And
match
then
it up.
the fact that I'm doing fucking 2 flights of stairs for every floor that I go up, and there's 3 floors.
They go together
So
perfectly.
I'm doing like 6 flights of stairs every day, you know?
The torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs to this card. Details been updated.
I could feel it because now when I sit at the edge of my chair, it doesn't hurt to like bend forward a little bit. Before it would hurt me. I would have to sit back all the time. But now I'm able to fucking bend down and tie my shoes. It doesn't hurt. Like my feet hurt, but it's not like a bad. The first 4 days was really bad. Like my feet were on fire, and I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
almost like pounding. But now, I don't know. Like I get home and I'm okay, you know. Like I could still stand, and boy, those first 4 days I couldn't even get out of bed, man. I would step on my feet and be like, oh my god, I gotta go to work again today.
A note in the envelope that appears to have been ripped open rather roughly. Evidence fits perfectly with a torn off piece found on the crime scene.
But I genuinely hate my job.
Details
I
have
really
been
don't
updated.
like where I work, so I'm gonna have to change
Found in
that.
Mr. Shamspear's room fits perfectly with the envelope from Miss Green's possession.
Not everybody's cut out to work with kids, and I always said I would never be a teacher because I can't. I don't have the patience for it. And look where I am. I'm working in a fucking school with kids.
Yeah, but you're not trying to teach them. That's the hard part.
No, it's
because they're not listening.
it's worse. Like these kids don't listen at all. Put your mask up. Flush the toilet. Like simple things. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, they don't flush to. God damn it.
Yep.
No, I gotta flush toilets for them and stuff. It's gross.
Yep, that's how they had that Seinfeld episode with George Costanza where the chef goes to the bathroom, doesn't wash his hands, and then bakes a pie himself for everyone on the table.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
it's fucking gross.
Dude, oh, that's gross.
He's like, because he didn't eat the pie like they did, so he's the only one that didn't get salmonella poisoning or whatever.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
Sorry, what? I didn't hear anything they could.
Just telling him an old Seinfeld episode. That relates to Jazz. There's no flushing the toilets.
From my memory and you fucking brought it back.
Now I know why I hated Seinfeld so much.
That's real life though. I've seen people do that in the bathroom too, where they just go and just go in and walk out.
That shit, dude, I don't touch the doorknob. I don't touch doorknobs. You can ask Jazz. I do not touch doorknobs.
Especially now that because of COVID, they upgraded everything, so everything in every building is touchless. You don't have to touch the soap dispenser. You don't have to touch the sinks.
Yeah.
You don't even have to flush the toilets. They flush themselves, and still.
I'm sorry for going down to the racist, but why does some Indian people don't fucking wash their hands?
Well,
Because they want the
it's
smell.
not just Indian people. I could tell you
Like
that for a
Easter-
fact.
Easter
Since now I freaking
I was sorry. You guys want to hear a story?
No.
What? I said
A follow-up story.
No. It's not a story you want to hear.
Go ahead. The stream is waiting to listen.
No.
No, it's just like weird. It's like my brother-in-law like went on a trip and they went on the elevator and they were like, it's like, why is this still like curry?
Where was
There's
the
a-
trip that he went to?
What?
What trip that he went to?
Went to Canada.
Oh boy.
I know French people go to Canada, but I didn't know about that.
I have to say though that curry is pretty fucking potent if you're cooking with it all day
Oh
and it's
my
in your
gosh.
cuisine. You smell it, you know, everywhere. It's on your clothes, it's in your hair, it's everywhere.
Only if it's done
I
right.
happen to like curry. I'm sorry, but I like Indian food.
Listen, I like the smell, like fresh curry, but if it's like old curry, I have a high sense of the smell. Like I don't need to smell fucking old ass curry.
Yep, I am not doing any more dungeons. I'm not doing any dungeons today. In fact, fuck that shit. I can't.
It's Duncan
I'm
Ross.
just too- I am not beat.
Now continue with your testimony, please, Miss
Fucking
Green.
boring. There's 1 million.
Anyways, I made it straight to the hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
Experience for that. No, screw that. Sorry. No.
Yes, he didn't regain consciousness until the day after the trial, didn't you? In the early hours. Exactly, so how could I have anything to do with it?
Knocking out already.
And you still haul me in here to court with this, honestly.
Like on some real shit.
So at the time of the poisoning,
Fucking waking
the
up
witness was
at
unconscious in her
5
hospital
o'clock is
bed.
no goddamn joke.
Could there be more airtight alibi, I ask you?
Alright guys, I'm probably gonna go to sleep because I'm like knocking out. I will talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully I get home earlier. I couldn't find parking, so... let me try to get home earlier tomorrow. Okie dokie. Night guys.
Alright, have a good night. And yeah, in spite of that, you still claim that I was the culprit. Well, you certainly haven't produced any evidence to support the wild claim, have you? None at all. And there you have it. The good lady has yet to see the evidence. My learned Nipponese friend. Working on it. Counsel will point out from here that the jury's next decision will be final. Really up against the wall here. Oh, Mr. Naru, you pursued Mr. Shamspeare wonderfully there. Worked out well, hasn't it? We have a new clue at last. Alright, now I need to pull off a really insightful objection somewhere. Well, if you managed to expose a promising new angle, I wonder if you should perhaps try to develop that. Ah, yes, of course. And yelling out objections isn't necessarily the best way to do that, I suppose. Alright. Alright, back to all this. Or plausible explanation. Evidence. I have evidence. Present. Mr. Shamspeare. Yes, on the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakst. Very well, I'll present the court with evidence. Explains why you had to be at the Slug and Sound that day, namely. Really? I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord, Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Sound on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else of this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Chancellor, your actions in the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described on this note. Personally, I find it hard to believe that it's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspear? Well... Excuse me, can I say something? Yes, Miss Green? That card, it was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely... My lord, may I? May you what, Miss Green? I'd like to make something very clear about this card. That card. Very well, then you may amend your testimony to include details about that peculiar note. This note was delivered to me at my address. It has nothing to do with the man next to me here. I think that means you received it the day before the incident. I think you said that you received it the day before the incident, didn't you? Yes, that's right. There appears to be no indication of the sender's name or address on the envelope. It was in my letterbox, and that's all I know, I'm afraid. I have no idea who sent it. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Who's this Duncan Ross, please? A friend of mine. He attended the same art school I do. He passed away in a tragic accident a month ago now, though. I wasn't even sure what to make of that note, to be honest, but in the end I decided to go. So you found out what the information was? Of course I didn't. You're not thinking straight. Once on her way there, she was stabbed in the back. As my learned Nipponese friend hopefully remembers. Yes, of course. She never made it to the meeting. Alright, we have a new clue.
Damn it, man.
Alright.
Yo, Eddie, I forgot to
What?
Yesterday. No.
The note was delivered to me in
Ago.
my address. It has something to do with this old man next to me.
Hello?
No, you're far away.
I was saying, a couple days ago, I was playing Genshin and I had like 61 entwined fucking shit.
Yeah.
Can you believe I still haven't got Hotel?
Yeah, I know. That's because, dude, if you're gonna get good, you gotta look. Yeah, you got 60. You did 61 pools, right? Here's the thing. Wait. Last battle
I
you did 10, right?
got a 5-star.
Right, and that wasn't Newtown.
No,
Who was it?
Gene. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, a 5-star. Woo! Like literally, I was like super happy. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get Hotel. No, I got fucking C3 fucking G.
That's the fire girl with the ghost, right?
Dude, when I got C3 fucking the rated, I have C3 to Luke.
Oh, damn.
So
The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago, this note was delivered to your address.
I don't want to use my top up, but I have to.
And upon carrying out the instructions inside the note, you found yourself in the hospital.
I got Homa.
Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that happened to me.
So the first 5-star I got.
Yes, it is terrible.
By using the 12,000
If that's all true, that is.
I got this fucking bow.
What do you mean?
Oh, that sucks.
Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of that envelope.
And I didn't want to use the top up. I didn't want to use it. I wanted to save it for
Oh, is it?
the maiden whenever she comes out. I was going to save it. But now I have to
Yes, that's what happens if it's perfectly together with the envelope that the note you received. Where'd you find that? In Mr. Shamspear's room. Eh? In my room? In my room? Mr. Shamspear. Do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well...
Oh, let me see something.
Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad and Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspear. You already know about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green. What did I do? As this torn off end of this envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspear's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm a fledgling artist after all. There's only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspear's room and stole it. And now she's painting furiously. You did what? Sorry, Douse did what? You mean, that were in my room? What on earth do you want with me? It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Miss Green. Yes? Well, you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events. Everyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. So bear that in mind. Yes, I know. Very well done, witnesses. You will give your formal testimonies again now. On the subject of curiously an anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. Witness testimony. The anomaly of the note. I do remember now. 'Tis was a week ago. Peradventure, that note was delivered unto me. Peradventure. On the day we're hearing, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening, I shared the company of the Japanese fellow. I did see that note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into his man's room, did you? Why would I? I can point to the villain here. As for that torn off piece of envelope, I don't know anything about it. You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspear? Faith, 'tis so, my lord. and I would swear to have set it upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it.
Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was...
A lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think that I'm the one lying.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar is around here. She keeps pointing in her... What's that thing called? The old cartoony things, or the board, the round board where you have your, all the different color palettes for painting.
Canvases.
Isn't the canvas where you actually draw, though, where you put the painting on? Or is that the... I mean, like the thing you hold...
About the circular thing?
Yeah, the circular thing you hold in your hand.
Ooh, paint slide, I think? I don't remember what it's called.
This thing.
No, I know. Wait, I know what you're talking about.
Well, actually, yeah, the other picture already had that too.
Yeah.
I know that has a name. I don't remember what the fuck it was.
Does? I don't remember.
If that were true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? As part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. I don't see why I should explain. Sorry? I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is to just say what happened, that's all. It's your job to try to explain, give the explanations and the proofs. You're the fledgling lawyer. The fledgling will do its best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope to learning the truth.
Well, counsel?
I'm ready, my lord.
Very well then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shakespeare's room. There could be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note. Yes, the two facts are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all this. And it's not a pretty one. The anomaly of the note. I do remember now. This was a week ago. Peradventure, the note was delivered onto me. The music is much higher tempo because it's getting more dramatic. And can you shed any light on the contents of that note at all? Nay, sire. 'Tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily, 'tis impenetrable. Mr. Duncan Raj has lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? ... Alack, if the choices be twixt I knew him and I knew him not, then it's would foreboding that I'd be forced to declare we were in some small measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the slug and salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature. Marry, not a thought will have better me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So it's true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet in the end, my curiosity was not sated. On the day written therein, I did tarry an hour long at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared. Well, yes, sire. This is thou say. Really? You paused a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked me whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall. Really? You mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all? I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord. No, 'tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to a almost clear water and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. As I mentioned earlier, a restaurant so fine you can choose how cloudy you want your water and how premium the crust of your bread. And all around me dances a great many companions and an anti-vet hate bot. Followed by your veteran friend got shot too. Okay. So ban. And go to that Twitch page to reports. And the channel's already suspended, yet somehow they're still following people. And all around me dance the great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire, flies. Good lord. In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer's night dream, come to taunt me. I think they were just flies. I can't help but think that flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me? Nope, it is not. And flies can't testify to him being there. Thereafter, on the evening, I shared the company of the Japanese fellow who did not see the note had vanished. I did see the note had vanished. I would grab the candle and try to light as many on fire as I could if I had that many flies around me. Where exactly did you notice it? When exactly did you notice it had gone missing? Such idle thoughts never occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas. Yep. The wrestling match between Romeo and Juliet, who was stronger. Yep. The discussion. In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsuma's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear the note disappeared sometime in that interval. Such idle thoughts never occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas. And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in the hospital, was she not? Clearly, then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shakespeare's room. Yes, of course. It's also some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir? ... You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came to by that note. I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I will not tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You will do well to remember that. Oh, dearie me. What's Lord Van Zeke's getting at? I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? It seems that the note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamspeare 1 week ago. Oh, does it? But for some reason it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that would have happened except that you breaking into Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings. But for what reason would the witness have done that? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, unless her involvement in the case is proven in some other way, any further pursuit of the note is meaningless. Miss Green could only come in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shamspeare's room. And yet there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though? Yes, we should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruto. We're close now, I can feel it. We're so close to a breakthrough. I can't point out the villain here. As for that torn out piece of envelope, I don't know anything about it. So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it? I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters. Introverted, fee. This fledgling doff rarely casts aspersions about my nature. Yeah, I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind, thou frolic on my wing. O pity, wherefore thou canst thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman. Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure. Tragedy! Thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee. Thou must wait so long and in vain. Mr. Naruto, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine. I'm no Shakespearean actor, Miss Susato. As far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is evidence. Yes. It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shamspeare's room, isn't it? That's where she found this letter. Yes, two more or less foregone conclusions led me to one terrifying conclusion. Terrifying? Yes, I'm afraid to say. And another anti-vet bot. Your PTSD Trigger 21. And this page exists, so report that. Yes, I'm afraid to say that the outcome of the cross-examination may well change how we look in this case completely. Alright, so what do we do? Let's see, I don't know what you mean. I think it snuck into this man's room, did I? Why would I? I think that's where we put the poison. One of these two items has to be it. Yep, so it's not that. That statement is contradictory in a number of ways, I think you'll find.
In a number of ways, you say?
That's right, my lord. In a number of ways. Shakes his head.
Perhaps it will serve you well to concentrate your efforts on one contradiction at a time, Counsel.
Yeah, so it stops the share play if no one watches in a while. Or a screen share.
Come on, Monster Hunter.
There's still stuff to do on Monster Hunter?
Try and get the last bit of achievements.
That's right, you're trying to get the platinum.
Get my crowns.
Alright, so it's not that. So we'll go with the poison. As I was first thinking. Yesterday at the hospital we saw you with this bottle. And thought the contents spilled during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. According to the defense's inept analysis, Mr. Sholmes' chemistry said, the liquid that still in the bottle was identified as strychnine. What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare? Now the dramatic music comes. Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings. For one reason and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp on Mr. Shamspeare's room with poison. ...
Can this be?
You broke into my room to... It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there's only one logical conclusion we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dearie me! She falls down and her canvas falls down with her.
Order! Order! Order in the head! Counsel, are you suggesting that woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill?
Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts.
But if Miss Green did intend to set an odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely.
Well, that's a very good point. Except, he was being watched by the gas people. Perhaps not, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
There was a significant police presence in the area that evening, in accordance to the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night
as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zeeks. And of course, the following morning there was more activity at Mr. Shakespeare's address. More activity? Ah, yes. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder? That's right. And the defense has already proposed. Mr. Shakespeare was meddling with the gas pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant. But once Natsume had been arrested, the room was under constant surveillance by the police. In any circumstance, Mr. Shakespeare had no reason to blow into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell, with the need to tamper the gas removed, the poison lay on the pipe, dormant. And then 3 days ago now, the situation changed. Right, Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end.
The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted.
That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Shakespeare was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present in the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. Mary! That's with that new understanding. Let's see. It becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan.
What plan?
The court recalled the note gave instructions to visit the Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else, for the reason that those instructions are now clear. To ensure that the lodger will not be at home at the stated time. To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she would not be disturbed. You mean to say the letter was written by Miss Green? Yes. In order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room. And another one. Veteran suicide by gunshot 9. And ban and report. This channel is also not available. Yeah, funny, channel can be banned, yet you still can visit all these other places. Just after she smeared poison all over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room.
Order! Order! What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me?
Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial.
So that's what's behind all this.
You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life?
Duncan Ross.
Duncan Ross?
That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Nasuman, took up residence in the lodgings at Mr. Garadeb's, someone else was renting that room. Mr. Duncan Ross. I knew I heard that name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago, when a man died in strange circumstances at the Haunted Lodgings.
It does ring a vague... of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claim was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamspeare blowing into the gas pipe and causing the gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. If it's an interesting story, they want to know. It doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, they just, 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean you, Duncan was?
Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé.
Fiancé?
You may have not known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamspeare. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry.
Mary!
Miss Green, is that not the case? That in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspeare, you smeared poison all over the end of the gas pipe. This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Each on the different counts of murder.
Yes, my lord, that's correct. Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken on a lungful of dubious gas, as causing his judgment to be clouded.
What?
Why would Mr. Shamspeare have waited to kill these lodgers? Wanted to kill these lodgers, you say? You have completely failed to prove the motive to substantiate your accusation against the man.
Oh, we have exactly a motive for that.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper. My liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance.
And you have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either. Miss Green?
I'm sure you think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel.
But you broke into that man's room. You didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe,
What was your reason, huh? I thought I'd have to look around. I would look around. That's all. Hey, fantasy. Yep, you saw them, right? That's 3 today already. On top of the 2 anti-vet bots I had yesterday. Yep, and it's probably going to get worse as Veterans Day comes closer. Some people have no fucking life. 2 of them that I reported immediately after were already suspended. And yet, they could still go to other channels to follow. That's alright. Like, I don't have any triggers or anything else for PTSD or any of that. I know some people that do. But I am not bothered by any of that, personally. Just some random asshole, ban him, report him, so they can stop that for other people. But I know some people who, you know, it's not going to cause them to commit suicide or something, but, you know, it may annoy and maybe more for some. That I do know. But thank you for letting them know. But, you know, I'm sure there's a couple more vets in the G4G. How's your night going? We're about to watch the exciting conclusion of this episode. In this case, we're nearing the end, so I expect it to end in about 2 hours. Every time I say I'm nearing the end, it goes another hour, and another hour, and then another hour.
It's never ending.
No, the 5th case, the last one on the first game of the 2 games, that one took about 9 hours total for that case. There was 4 investigation parts, and then 4 trial parts afterwards. So it was one extremely long trial of twists and turns.
Man, it's insane. What are you talking about?
How this game is. I have the share play up if you're not doing anything you want to watch.
Yeah, he's probably gonna go off.
If you want to watch, or you want to watch on Twitch. What happened on your Twitch?
I can't use it for some reason.
They did reset password a long time ago, so if you haven't used it in like 2 years, because of the one leak from before, they had reset it, so you may have to reset your password. If it was that.
Yeah.
It could be from that if you haven't used it in like that long. But like I said,
Yeah, it's been longer than that.
yeah. I'm saying 2 years is the estimate. It's probably been like 3 years since they did that. I'm not entirely sure when it was. But they basically made everyone have to reset their password on the next login.
Yeah, it was just recently, actually.
No, that's a different one. That was with the possible information that they reset everyone's stream key. And that's it.
No, they were saying that you need to, because Twitch got hacked a long time, not that long ago.
Yeah, but they took some information, but
We had to change our passwords again.
I changed mine on my own, but you didn't have to on this one. But they did reset everyone's stream key, so if you stream, like, you just had to get another one, so that you had to put it on your OBS and other software. But they didn't force anyone, as far as I know, to actually reset their password. But the one a few years ago, they did. They forced everyone to reset their passwords. Yeah, if you want to play around your Twitch, like I said, you can watch this in the party. So the screen share will be just like if you're watching it, the same thing.
Sadly, I have to go to sleep because I have to wake up early for school.
Alright. Have a good night.
Hey, Mark.
You have to resync G4G and all the hate
Whenever
bot
you
right
have time, just send me 2 images of skill setup on Final Fantasy. Dragoon and Machinist, whenever you have time. Not now.
I don't think I can.
Whenever you have time. Not now.
stop by.
Yeah, you're playing SAO, and I had to finish that game at some point, as well as all the other SAO games,
No.
except for the GGO game.
No, or-
I thought I'd have a look around, that's all. That's why I broke into his room. Sorry? You're right, I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life. Oh violence, oh villainy, oh tyrant, oh rotundity of woman. He keeps calling her fat. That's his insult for everything.
Good night, guys.
Have a good night. But in any case, whether I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some tarps. With some chirps and a piece of wire. Oh awfulness, oh tyranny, oh profanity of woman. We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion. But for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence in your search revealed. Well, I spotted the note that sent him lying on the floor.
What? It works for the weapon, it doesn't work for the armor.
When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it, I discovered a secret hiding place. Oh, she took what was in the box. Eh? Yeah, so we also discovered that hiding place. Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Now we can tie it in. That evidence. What's up, Hope? Nee. Every time I pick her up, no is what it sounds like. But, well, the thing is, when I found it, that box wasn't empty. What? There was something inside it? Yes. She's wearing a rather nice key. Ah! What? What are you doing with that? What the? Every ounce of color has drained from his face. Give it here! Give it to me at once! It's mine! I inherited it! What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it? Yeah, we can tie it in now. No, What's all this about? He inherited that key? It was obviously important to you, since you'd gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means that you can't open something now? I don't care. Give it back this minute! Give it to me! Calm yourself, witness. So Mr. Shakespeare has tried and in one case succeeded to take the life of 2 lodgers. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened, and we have the evidence to support that now. We can now officially tie that in. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusations against Mr. Shakespeare at first. But considering everything we know now, I think there is actually something that could explain it. What? I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal, everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all these events. In that case, counsel, I must demand you present the evidence to the court in support of your claim. What is it you say that can explain the motivation for Mr. Shakespeare's alleged crimes? That file. That's an official police report, is it not? The Selden file? How'd you get a hold of that?
Selden, and now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant, Mr. Natsume, have only one thing linking them. That fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Well, yes, we know this, certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries. I see. As we can read in the record, 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Who supposedly hid a treasure. Estimate of £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains uncovered. And this is back in the 1900s. Early 1900s. So that was a lot of money. And it just happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. There's some £1,000 worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found. Ah, yes, of course, it's all coming back to me now. It's written here in this file. £1,000 lost en route to hell. That was how the paper summed it up. And it seemed one particular fellow inmate was with the convict at his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. He's panicking. You mean this key is? Mr. Shamspeare, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? What are you talking about? This is a false charge, I tell you. A false charge. The name of the inmate who was Selden at his death isn't noted in the file. But a simple telegram to the police prison where he died will quickly tell us how false that charge really is. But even if that's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings? There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It is the very room that Selden hid his loot. Boom, boom, boom. So, it all comes out. Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamspeare's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Garrideb's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's old room. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice, because Selden's old roommate had already been let to someone else, Mr. Duncan Ross. Which is why Mr. Shamspeare subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, a certain jittery someone had beat him to it. Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less. So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamspeare? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and very avaricious reason. To get your hands on that £1,000 of loot left behind by the dead convict. You were... And I guess he's finally gonna admit it. Looks like I'm gonna snuff it before they get to stretch me neck. Listen, I want you to have my loot. Anything to stop the coppers from getting their mitts on it. It's hidden in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Here, this is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Shamspeare. Smine. What did he just say? It's mine. That loot is mine. Crazy look on his face. Mr. Shamspear? It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I am the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do. You can't arrest me for the time being anyway, juror 1 and 2. Verily, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? Juror 3 and 4, 6, shock. I'm so close, I need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I just give up? There's no question in my mind now. That man's guilty through and through. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. Afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Natsume. There is a way. Pardon? There is one way I can finish him. No! He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first. A fine plan. Were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule. If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly. This is the final piece in this complex puzzle, but I think we might need to have it in our possession already. We might have it in our possession already. Or I think we may have something that can help us find this loot hidden. Favor this. Shout out to his fellow dead for this. I don't think I have anything. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense would like to make a proposal. How about how to find the late convict's hidden loot? I believe we are already in possession of something that will give us a clue as to where his whereabouts. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we used the same techniques once already, and it already definitely paid off then. Well done, counsel. Let us hear your idea. What do you propose we use in order to locate the hidden place of the deceased convict's haul? Oh.
Would it be this?
There we go. Much better.
Because he has a giant key, so the key should fit to this, right? I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking. This is my proposal, my lord. Yep, that's not it. Good gracious, we can use that, can't we? I have another idea. Stop wasting the court's time with this nonsensical rubbish. Nonsensical rubbish. That's my proposal, my Nipponese friend. His proposal was better. We already found one secret hiding place during the... Yes, Mr. Naruto. Yeah, that's the other hint. Yes, I suppose we have, though it seems someone else beat us to it. The findings of the method we used are still in the court record, aren't they not? I believe it's worth proposing the same method again now. Yes, that's what we need to use, so... If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shakespeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings. That's right, my lord, exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation at the scene. Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Sholmes. A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm gonna be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bard ought to recognize the title when he hears one, Mr. Shakespeare. And there he is. Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. It's this Sherlock Sholmes himself. What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not? Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long. And I see your complexion has worsened by it since we have last met. Mr. Sholmes? He does know Lord Van Zieks then. Well, enough to say something like that in any case. Mr. Sholmes? Though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit. If I may, my lord. Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has already helped us uncover vital clues in this case already. Clues, you say? I call them skin prints, my lord. Handprints is what they are. A method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. As the method of which we are able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. You need a small sample of something an individual has previously touched to make the indicator solution. In your case, sir, I used your teacup as you were holding elementary. So now, Mr. Naruto. Ah, yes. Well, I'm going to use a sample to make this indicator solution this time. Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Sasaki-san's room. We have sampled to help locate Sultan's loot that is hidden in his room. What form would be best to take? Alright, so do we have something from the previous person? We don't have evidence as far as I could tell. What about people? Can we present him?
We can see everything he touched and what else he hasn't touched. We have sample to help locate Selden's loot. It's hidden from his old room. What form will the sample take? It's something that he touched. Selden. We have nothing here, but we can present the girl who has the key, right? Present a person. We need something from Selden's in order to create an indicator solution of his loot. Something the convict owned happens to be possession of somebody listed in the court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruto, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From who can we obtain a possession from the late convict, Miss Selden, to create the indicator? Well, naturally, Miss Olive Green. She's holding the key to the loot. Miss Green. Me. What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Sorry? That key belonged to Selden, which will which will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on the surface we can use. Very true. That is a sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholm's skin print seeker, and find exactly where Sheldon touched in the room he used to rent. Mr. Shamsier, that's one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hall is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. So, Mr. Shamspear, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth. In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key. No! Give it to me! The detective shan't have it! It's over, Mr. Shamspear. No! No! You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt. Whoa! You sprinkly confetti. Despair. Be thy name. And that's all we need. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room. That's all. So you had time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods. Yet after you killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course, pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Garrett really has a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then the Japanese man swooned in at just the right moment to sign a new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume, what unfortunate timing. Then 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road with the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance, but it wasn't to be. No. No. The scene was sealed off and guarded by police day and night. And if I remember right, Mr. Schoen spent a whole day there reading the books. That's true. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again try your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe to feed the stove on his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, the action would lead to you have into a deadly trap. William Shakespeare. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Well, let me tell you, in that case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. Well, the truth has come out, so this trial can finally end. And now she admitted her part. At first, I really didn't think it was just a terrible accident. I never forget our conversation that night before Duncan died. The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's as important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms at my house. Why don't you just leave that horrible room tonight? No, I better not. We better stay until we get guaranteed that before we told our parents, remember? But that was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas. If we only known it was going to happen, I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, I have been left with this bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped, eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grubb's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him. And I sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with a publican. This place is cursed, I tell you. Cursed! That goes to that comic who used to live there. Trying to suffocate me. I wake up in the middle of the night, freezing to death because the stove had gone out. The room is full of gas and I can't hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked. No problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking. But how could that be? Duncan was gone and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered. Rumor I heard about the gas companies go investigating gas installations. A rumor? Oh, you mean... Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets of the East End. A black market? Never been, I just heard people talk about them. You can really buy anything you could think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. The poison. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident? Or was it murder? And your chosen method of establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison in the gas pipe you suspected the man tampered with, and wait. If Mr. Shakespeare was innocent, nothing would come of what you've done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. I found out the name of the man suspected. William Shakespeare. And when I wrote him this little note, I have information about the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anyone else about this letter or the meaning. It is a matter of utmost importance. If he's done it, I knew that would worry him enough, so he's sure to go. So wait to see if it worked. And of course, Mr. Chancellor followed the instructions to the letter. I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away. The smear of a good amount of poison I thought I brought are all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was just some wild fancy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just desserts. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. "3 days ago, when you first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward." "Yes, my lord." "So I never imagined the depths of depravity that we would subsequently find lurking behind the scenes." "It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend." "Oh, yes. And I certainly didn't envisage walking with you." "Nevertheless, together we have reached the light of the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green." "Yes, my lord?" "You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom, as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shakespeare." "Yes, I know." "And you, Mr. Shakespeare, you'll be tried for the murder of Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present." Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Miss Green? Yesterday at the hospital, when you and your friend stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left of that poison bottle? I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. A question is so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad that you're being here, Miss Green. Oh? And I'd like to believe that it was a blessing Mr. Shakespeare didn't die when he ingested that poison. For your sake, at the very least. Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green.
"Mr. Soseki Natsume."
Yes, my lord.
"The court declares you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I will call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present their verdict of not guilty."
We are in full agreement, my lord.
"In that case, I hereby declare the defendant
Not guilty. And the 6 fireworks. Inside the courtroom.
Court is adjourned.
February 3:24 p.m. We started at noon.
The Old Bailey Defense Antechamber. Oh, yes, yes, at last. Divine justice duly done. Divine justice? My dear fellow, if there's any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache. No, this has nothing to do with my mustache. Some say that a luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Locum student, Mr. Norwell Esquire. Once again, you saved me from doom. I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to this land and bore fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived the life through friendly old books. You had such a difficult time, haven't you? But a week ago, I dragged you out of that dark, dingy room of yours, did I not? You did, yes, you did. I have seen more of life in this week than I have had in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel as I've begun to see the true face of England that's been hiding from me from behind that wall of fog. My dear fellow, there is nothing special about that true face of England, as you put it. Whosoever goes in the world, humans are humans. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. Finally starting to see that, and I've come to understanding something. I worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that wherever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're just doing our best to live. Well said, I've come to feel the same way. I made a decision too. I'm going to cut short my studies over here and return to Japan. What? Just when we become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know, it does tug the heartstrings. It really does. But I decided I would like to take everything I learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh my! You're creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful! Oh, well, no. I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature. Why not? This is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache. Yeah, I suppose you're right, yes. I will, in a way, be literature. As for now, all I know is I have to try to get my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your works. Well, all things considered, they may be for the best. After all, you'll once again emerge victorious from a battle with the Reaper. That's very true. And there's no salvation from a person in the dock when the Reaper isn't a prosecutor. The desire to return post-haste to your perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. Oh goodness, yes. Faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm sure. Quite sure. But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it. Objection! And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. Sasaki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. I was on reading that report that Professor Mikotaba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Sao-san was given the news that she had returned to Japan as well. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation comes to mind Is that what happened after that trial? On the following day, the day we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convicts from the former lodgings. February 10:13 a.m. Mr. Natsume's room. Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. That was simply marvelous of you. You uncovered a secret hiding place in just one day. Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? I believe I told you, my dear fellows. Scan prints are extremely useful in such situations. What'd you gain, Gregson? Chopping on his fish in bits. His chips. Gregsy's been happily munching in his agreement all this whole time. You know, early. Happily? I think perhaps humorously might be closer to the truth. So, what transpired? It transpired that man fashionably hid the hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let's look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's hall. What the? What is that? A belt? Or a bracelet? It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar. A collar? It's huge though. And look at all the gemstones that in it. And it's covered in blood. I can see why it claimed to be worth £1,000. Perhaps it could be set as a belt. Oh, have you noticed the inside there? There's some dark stains. You don't think it could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thought, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Then of course there's this emblem here. The large letter B in a small crown. What does it signify, you think? Oh, I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know? What could it have been? Yeah, that's enough of that, I think. What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color has drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I'll be taking this, aren't you? It'll be a valuable evidence after all. Must be kept safely under lock and key. Oh, yes. Get your grubby hands off of that, you lot. Hand it over now. I've never seen a collar that large before, and all these jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. But that's not what stood out the most to me. At least not once I noticed it. These dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains. Could they really have been blood? Well, that funny case, wasn't it? It's all buttoned up now. You look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I'm starting to wonder what we can use as basics of this month's story for the magazine. This case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. Is that about the latest installment of The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, I presume? The mystery of the knife in the mist, and the mustache man and the convict's curse, perhaps. That could make it a two-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word, please, Iris. Yeah, what is it, Hurley? I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist you limit yourself to the first of the two titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Yes.
And so it was that the second of Soseki-san's cases were buried in obscurity. Now looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen. For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again. An incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Oh, we actually get to go there. The end. Case 7 is finally done. The Key of Knowledge. 47% of total trophies, and only 25% of players have gotten this far. Alright, so what's the special trophy we have to do for this one? Ladders, this. New ideas. For presenting the armband and Lord Van Zeeks in episode 3. Okay, so that's the... That's it. So... So that, and then we just have all the ladders, the shovel talk, and then wearing outfits. And completing the story. Alright. You can still get the platinum in this game. Episode 3, The Return of the Great Departed Soul. It's early enough, we can continue that.
The grand end of the century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of the century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few were aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition,
And smoke and fire.
into the skies of Hyde Park. Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
A lot of foreshadowing, but no real reveals.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people. The weather is unusually high, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
A scientific experiment. What could go wrong?
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies.
Well, batting 3 for 4.
And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future. A world first. A demonstration of our super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. As in telekinesis? What could go wrong? And a giant gun. He's fucking trying to teleport someone. Yeah. You don't look too happy to be in that cage. So there's 4 giant levers and 5th lever. And here comes the electricity. October, 9:36 a.m. Sholmes' suite. Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry. What is it, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. You don't like it when I cook you breakfast? You like what I cook you for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper is full of news about the Great Exhibition again. Ah, yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go there sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? And he's extremely down. Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down. Ah! When'd you arrive, Mr. Naruto? He lives upstairs. I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vin. So much so I didn't even notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce from the reason perfectly well with simple observation. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, tussle hair is this morning. This is all unruly spikes. You can clearly deduce that. Therefore, that. Let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has, ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? And he's down again. Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. Throw. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems to be more down in the dumps than me. I know, it's the greatest exhibition has opened. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we go see it together? I want to, of course I do. Of course I do. But I can't, not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroidered in some trickery case you cannot be distracted from, is that it? I don't remember here you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out more about what's going on. Alright, let's see what's on the board today. Ah yes, this is where you wrote down your ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The Blue Carbuncle. Yes, it's from the case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see. Especially if it's cut with a rounded top. Oh really? And this garnet is blue, was it? Well, that's the thing, they're usually red. No blue garnet's ever been discovered. Oh. Who knows what stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case. Proper Herlock Sholmes gonna know. Yeah, if it was blue, wouldn't it be a sapphire? Alright man, I'm gonna go. I'll probably finish up in a little bit here. Kind of relax for the night. Unless unless you like listening to the audiobook of this.
I don't care. Just playing disorder.
There's so many different bottles up here on that charming little set of white shelves. Oh, do be careful, Rooney. You mustn't try the contents of any of these bottles, even if you're hungry. I don't want to do something so stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know. Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids. They still keep talking about that. He what? He said he was hungry. I'll be extra careful. Most of these things never change. I look forward to finding out what aroma of tea will be you ever had, Iris, every single day. Well, I infuse every different concoction of herbs in the garden every time. So it's never the same twice. When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time. Ah yes, that's because these different blends have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. That sounds ominous. I can type with my eyes shut now, you know. I can believe it. When the deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black and I didn't make a single mistake. That's incredible. But then when it got light, I found there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I've actually been typing at all. I think you just might have fallen asleep on the job. All these different pieces of evidence from cases that Mr. Sholmes has solved are very interesting. Trouble is, Hurley forgets things so quickly. He never remembers why these things are relevant. The other day, for example, he saw orange pips that were there and decided to plant them in the garden. Pips? Yes, they're all sprouted now. We have 5 new little plants. Oh, I don't know what case they were from, but Mr. Sholmes can get oranges to grow outside in England. He should change his profession. Ah, yes, a huge metal chest with lace cloth on it. Use the table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut. That check contains my father's detailed records for Hurley's many cases. Yes, I've been led to believe. Though personally, I've never actually seen inside. And that's the way you'll stay. These papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go on opening it uninvited, you might find yourself bitten. Being bitten. What? Is there a beast inside or something? I do love a good fire in the colder months. Watching the flames flicker and dance is just so very relaxing. Cleaning out the chimney isn't so relaxing, though. No, getting covered in soot isn't my idea of fun. You know, Hurley decided he was going to clean it out himself last year. But you can guess what happened, can't you? He got himself stuck inside the flute. He's a very slim man, I admit, but there are limits to what a fully grown man can fit. Now every time he dozes off by the fire, he has nightmares about it. Alright, examining the loft again. Last segment. Junk on the bookshelf. Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the ground. Gunnels. Mrs. Otto wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand a mess. Susie might not be able to stand mess, but we shouldn't dare touch those shelves. Oh, why not? Everything's in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one single thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down. Ha! Susie noticed that was a very delicate arrangement right from the onset. You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. And lastly, his great analytoscope. Every time I look at that machine, I can't help but think of what monstrosity it is. What's it called again? The Great Analytoscope. It can analyze absolutely anything, you know. Does seem incredible and at the same time incredibly useless. But it looks impressive, doesn't it? So it makes it very useful. How does it make it useful? Because it means you can pawn it for lots of money. The pawnbrokers always make idle remarks about what an amazing looking machine. Sir Hurley often takes it to the pawn shop when he's in a little short. Sounds like this thing pulls its weight around here more than I realized. And by weight, it's by having its weight pulled around. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here and relax. Alright, man. I'll see you around.
Later.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired too, and even though I just had a large amount of pizza, I want to have something for dinner because I need to keep my iron up. So thank you all for coming in, hanging out, lurking. Hope you have a good night. We finally finished case 7, so we get to finally move on to case 8. Where are you, Grace? Attorney, Chronicles, case 8. So this will be a little shorter today. Hope you all have a good night. Be sure to check out my socials so you can stay updated on stream changes and read the random stuff I post. Articles, hope content, and more. Alright. Hope you have a good night, and let's see who's on so we can raid.